Welcome into the Dropkick Basement. Recording here. We are rocking ourselves into the early part of March. The wind's kicking up. This is Mike Madden, your host for the Dropkick Basement. I've got alongside me my partner in crime, Tommy Schultz. Tommy, how you be today?
I be springing into action, getting ready to get my 3-point stance, hit a 3-pointer,
Okay, all right.
maybe a grand slam.
Oh, so you know the assignment and have done the homework. So yes, we're coming at you with a fun. I think it's a fun episode. I think it's a good topic. I think it's something that a lot of people that are wrestling fans love to talk to regular sports fans about, and that is when an athlete comes from another sport and plies their trade in pro wrestling or starts a career simultaneously as a athlete and a pro wrestler, the old two-way sports athletes. That is our topic today, and that is what we're going to do a little bit of deep diving and a little bit of a general conversation about some of your favorite pro wrestlers who may have had an early career in the sports world.
So, I just want to get like a slight clarification.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
going
anytime.
into this, and we're not talking about athletes who, made their claim to fame in one sport, be it football, basketball, golf, etc., and then made like a guest appearance for a match or two.
Yeah, so we're gonna stay away from the cameo appearances. So Lawrence Taylor,
Malone's,
yes, the Karl Malones and actually those are not only two one-time appearance athletes who did okay. I'm not going to take that away from them, but they're also absolute like creeps.
Yeah, maybe we could have used a different example. Kevin Green.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Green actually,
he had a few.
He actually had a pretty decent showing a couple times. But yeah, like the people that like stopped and visited you for a pay-per-view appearance
after retirement or something.
Yeah, like the old. I think the quintessential, and we'll actually start with football because there's so many like guys that like made, and there's still guys that come out of the NFL after playing a season or two that mess up a knee or fuck up their back or whatever it is that are like, all right, well now I want to throw myself around a wrestling ring for a little while. That's a great idea. But I think that's a good place to start because you do have a lot of people, especially in the 60s. When you really think of them, when it really breaks down, the American athlete was not paid a lot of money.
No.
Before you started to see the contracts go up in the late 70s, early 80s, when free agency was opened up through most of, if not, by the end of the 90s, or by the end of the 80s, not the 90s, but you started to see it in all sports. Free agency was the norm, and then escalating contracts. But if you're looking at guys in the 50s and 60s, and you're going back and you're saying like, well, what happens in the off season? A lot of them just in general ended up being school teachers.
Yeah.
They learned a trade. They went into the military, so on and so forth, and or they went back to school and they got their degree because they were on the high end and they could earn themselves a little bit of money. So there are some that did, decide, well, I really like getting thrown around for my regular career. Let's dovetail into the world of pro wrestling and let's become this sort of, at that time, I guess maybe part-time wrestler or part-time football player, whatever it is. So there's a few names that are like right off the top of my head when we were discussing in production meetings like what we should do and what we should talk about on this episode. If you say football and wrestling, who's normally like, who normally do you think of?
Well, I mean, for me, it's like it depends on like who you're talking about.
Okay.
Because there's been a million times, especially in the WCW days, where JR would always bring up. He always brought up their athletic pedigree.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy that I go to, that in my younger years was like oh wow, I didn't realize that that guy was like he was a Super Bowl champion, NFL Hall of Famer, Steve Mongo McMichael.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So like for me, that's who my mind goes to immediately
Yeah. He's
when you bring up that, because it's like he actually was an accomplished. There's a million guys
and
who
he.
dipped in and out of
Yeah.
football,
Yeah.
but he was the guy that like he made his bones in football and then came into wrestling and did the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, he's a very interesting case. Is that he was a guy who, Super Bowl champ, as you said, Super Bowl champ, NFL Hall of Famer, College Hall of Famer. You know, played in the NFL until about 90, I guess it was 94, 94, 95. Then took that job. He was a commentator, as you probably knew, with Pepe the dog under his arm. He was a terrible commentator, but but he certainly like he brought like that was the I think like
because his first exposure prior to his WCW days was he was one of Lawrence Taylor's cornermen.
Yes, he was
in that whole like the NFL versus the $1 Million Corporation feud that built to LT and Bam Bam at 11.
And there's a funny story behind that too. He had actually he had caught their eye, and he actually had inquired about being a lot more than just a guy in the corner. He was looking to get a contract, and I think there was a little bit of a bidding war when it came to especially just before Nitro started. There was a chance that if the WWF was like, hey, we're willing to train you and put you through this, name your price. And WCW was like, we can discuss that, but we're going to pay you more money, and we're going to start you off because we need your personality. We're going to start you off as a commentator to help launch this Nitro show. And he decided to go in the direction of the pile of cash that Ted Turner was putting in front of him. But there was there were always, if you go back and look at dirt sheets around those times, and there was scuttlebutt in the industry that Mongo was going to potentially sign with WWF, and maybe play a bigger role in that WrestleMania match. That really depends on if you believe
because you also have to put into a lot. So the guys that were in LT's quarter, I would say aside from I think Reggie White was one of them.
Yes,
right?
he was. Yeah.
Aside from Reggie White at that time, who was a current football star, probably the best player at his position.
He's
in the NFL at that time.
As we were talking about with free agency and moving the needle when it comes to, he was one of the key guys that helped break the barrier to allow for a better pay for the players when it came to free agency in that early part of the 90s, for sure.
But no shade to Mongo whatsoever, because he is a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think that his name moved the needle that guys like LT or Reggie White would have at that time, because I mean he had retired probably a year or two earlier, but his his peak was in the mid to late 80s.
Oh yeah.
So he was on the tail end of his career.
Very end of it, yeah.
His name value probably fizzled out in terms of mainstream exposure from the NFL into, the casual wrestling fan who is probably not the most hardcore of football fans.
The thing that worked for Mongo was, and this is where I'll disagree with you. He had a lot of notoriety because he would go on talk shows. He'd be on Jay Leno, or he'd be on these talk shows, and he had that personality. So I think
yeah, for
people, especially people in the media who are like, well, you've got a brand new wrestling show, like you just can't have the regular wrestling announcers. You want to do something really flashy. Vince uses celebrities, and Vince used Lawrence Taylor, and this guy was part of it. Like, hey, and he was the one that was sort of like maybe had more personality than even Lawrence Taylor had, in that. So I think like he turned a lot of heads, and there was a buzz about and I remember this from just before Nitro started. There was a buzz about Mongo being part of this. Because it was like, hey, he's recently retired. He's got a little bit more cachet, and he's going to bring so much to, like, he's almost like a wrestler who, a football player and a wrestler built in together, already. Now you're going to have him on a wrestling show. He's going to be fun. And he was fun because he had a little dog under his arm, and he was kind of really bad at doing commentary. And he would fight
precisely.
He would argue with Bobby Heenan. And call him weasel breath and not really understand like the context of a lot of things. But all of that aside, and his entry into the wrestling business aside, once they got a year into it and they were like, all right, we're making this match, Mongo's under contract. And Mongo had gone to the power plant, and he had been training, and they brought in Kevin Green to do the tag match against the Horsemen. And then obviously, as we all know, Mongo turned on Kevin Green, and then they didn't pay that off for another year or year and a half afterwards. Because Kevin Green, basically, I think that was like a June pay-per-view.
It was, yeah.
It wasn't Bash at the Beach. Great American Bash. So, and he was in camp like a month and a half later. So, then you don't see him for 8 months through a football season. And it's like, oh shit, Kevin Green, he was part of that shit with Mongo. Like, so that, but that started Mongo on his course. He was actually a United States champion. Which it's fascinating. Like, this is the other thing, and I'll bring this up as we go along, the lineage of that particular title with football players. The thing in the Horsemen, I think they just loved to party with that dude. And Flair adored McMichael, and he was like the catalyst on the whole, like, hey, we're gonna have a match, you and Kevin against me and Arn Anderson, and this is gonna be a lot of fun, and we're gonna guide you the whole way. I don't know if Arn Anderson was really keen on it, but I think he saw dollar signs. But it really became Flair's like mission to like get Mongo in and let Mongo, be. He was he's probably like next to last on the list of all-time horsemen. Sorry, Paul Roma, but you're not bringing Mongo in to be a technician. You're bringing Mongo in because he's got that over-the-top persona that people love in pro wrestling and would always like say, all right, if that guy's on the show, he's going to be a wild card, and
I mean, like, not only that, but you just look at him in comparison to the other guys in the crew at the time. You got Flair, Arn, and I think Benoit was the fourth. Mm-hmm. All smaller guys, and relatively, now you have this giant man. Yeah, he's like the heater.
Well, he's
and he's got the pretty girl on his arm,
and with the big ass mouth,
and it just fits.
Yeah,
so
it fits
well.
your Horseman aesthetic of that time. It
fits into like he's like the Barry Windham or the like the old, like he fits a chess piece in whatever version of the Horseman you've got.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. They helped him out with a lot of like, if you're putting him in a tag team with Benoit, like you don't have to see Mongo until like, maybe you need a hot tag and Mongo gets in there, or when he was teaming up with Jeff Jarrett or Malenko or whatever like variation they decided to like tag him with, or it was an 8-man tag and he could just get utilized if they needed him to come in and do a couple 3-point stances, and that scary looking tombstone pile driver that he did.
Oh. I'm surprised he didn't kill somebody.
Yeah, no, he got a lot better at it because they eventually told him like, no, the head should never go between the knees that far down. Like you should
just like let them go.
You shouldn't see neck. And he started to it was almost like he had the head at the belly and he was delivering the tombstone.
Yeah. Oh, they didn't even touch.
Yeah. So yeah, Mongo is definitely a guy that's on my list. I think, in my opinion, there were two guys that are synonymous with football, and they're before your time. So allow me to regale you on the legend that is Ernie Ladd.
Okay, I had Ernie on my list.
Yeah.
He's not one that I've seen much from in terms of wrestling.
I would honestly tell you, do yourself a favor and find Ernie Ladd. The more I watch Ernie Ladd, and again, he's before my time. I think I saw a little bit of Ernie. He retired in '84, so I might have seen some of it on cable. In my first year of watching wrestling, but since I've gone back and looked at him in the '70s, Ernie Ladd may be one of the most intimidating and trash talk heels that they had at that time.
Oh yeah,
and they had a lot of trash talk guys, but Ernie, everything was backed up by, I'm a legend in San Diego for my time playing with the Chargers. I think he had a stint with the Chiefs as well. I mean, he was AFL All-Star 4 times over. He's in the Chargers Hall of Fame. He was a guy that was known in the league. His career got cut short because his knees, again, he's another one, was like, well, my knees went out, so I'm going to pivot into being a pro wrestler. Great idea. But he made it work.
The whole, my knees went out, so let me do something that requires me to
run and
constantly
land
bend
on
my knees.
Yeah, I know. But he was also a classic big man. And he had the giant pose. He looked to me, when I look at Ernie Ladd and I see him against guys like Pedro Morales or San Martino, the few times that he went in and he challenged those guys, even Bob Backlund, they come up to Ernie's nipples. Ernie looked like a basketball player because I think he stood about 6'8".
What position did he play? Was he a defensive lineman?
He was, yeah. But he had massive hands. He had a massive wingspan. But the times that I've seen him promo, he was managed by the Grand Wizard in the WWF, and he was one of those guys that would be brought in. He would have the match with the 3-set with the heavyweight champ of the time, and then if Andre was in the territory, he would get a run with Andre. And they did the same thing when he was in Mid-South. And Andre would come in, and it's Ernie's in the territory at the time, or Ernie's booking the territory at the time. He loves it. He would call Andre the big French dummy, or Andre the French fry, and Ernie would wear a crown and call himself he was the king of all pro wrestling. That's why he didn't really work Memphis. But he was so, he could be quiet. He's a great promo because he could be very quiet and then he could just explode. And if you were the face that he was going up against, he would tear you. He would again. It's all this soft spoken, and then gets gregarious, and then whoever his manager was is just smiling and laughing because they're like, "We're gonna make a ton of money," because Ernie's not working preliminary matches and building his way up to this. Ernie's coming in on top for 6 months, and he's gonna wrestle the 3 biggest guys in this territory, and we're gonna main event every night. We're gonna make a lot of money, and he became a booker. Like I said, he booked for Bill Watts in the early 80s, where he was also a manager. He was a manager of the Wild Samoans for a while. And then he went to Mid-Atlantic, kind of in one of their downtimes, and he was the booker in Mid-Atlantic. And I believe, just like Mongo McMichael, he was at least one time, if not multiple times, a United States heavyweight champion.
Okay.
I think he also won the Mid-Atlantic regional title. So Ernie would again he would accumulate, and once that football career, he knew he was done with it. He probably had a good like 10 or 15 years total in a wrestling career, barring the beginning, which was part time. So that yeah, if you're gonna take a homework assignment away from today's lesson in sports athletes, go check yourself out some Big Cat Ernie Ladd.
I'm gonna have to do that.
Especially the promos. Like he's a completely underrated like 70s promo guy for sure.
All right, that's something I gotta check out now.
That's something again. That's for sure. The other guy that I just I need to mention, Wahoo McDaniel.
Okay, yeah.
Partially because I'm a Jet fan, so I'm a homer, and I love the story of when Wahoo would be on the field. I think they played at the Polo Grounds when he was on the team, and the public address announcer, if he made a tackle, number 56, who made that tackle, and the crowd would go Wahoo. So they took the Indian chief nickname or the chief nickname that he had given himself by being a Native American, and it became his nickname persona, then became his nickname in pro wrestling. But he was the first guy to have a customized jersey, because he didn't have McDaniel on the back of his jersey. At some point, he put Wahoo on the back of his jersey.
Really?
Yeah. The AFL was fucked up. They would let you do some wild shit.
Well, yeah, the AFL.
It
was kind of lawless.
It was a little bit of a rogue league, but yeah, I mean, he made a splash. He played for I think he had a total of 8 years in the NFL, and bopped around. He was with the Jets, Miami Dolphins, Broncos. Might have been a stint somewhere else. But he always, again, like he was the type of guy that, like, in his off season, he was down in Amarillo working for the Funks, and kind of learning, the ins and outs of pro wrestling and being an attraction in, I think 66, 68, just at the end of his football career is when he started to do part-time wrestling. Former Oklahoma Sooner as well. Big important guy for 20 plus years. Wahoo was like an important guy in Mid-Atlantic. He was important in Texas for Fritz. He worked up in New York. Really synonymous with like blood feuds. So Ric Flair's first, and Ric Flair always credits, he first got over because he had a long program with Wahoo McDaniel. Over. Can you guess what title this was over?
I want to say it was over the TBS title.
No, it was the United States Heavyweight title.
Oh shit! Duh, of course.
So yeah. I mean, again, and he really he was like a hard-hitting, badass Native American babyface. Everybody loved him. Around here, like if you talk to people who were like, "Oh, I remember like Chief Jay Strongbow," and like that was like the Indian guy that was on WWF TV. He is nothing compared to Wahoo McDaniels in every sense of the word. Wahoo was, and Wahoo wasn't like a super worker, but Wahoo was like so much more like badass, hard hitting. I compare him to like in our current day, it would be like a Powerhouse Hobbs type.
Okay,
that would be the type of if you're trying to think of like what Wahoo brings to the table. Turned heel in Mid-Atlantic, and when they were like really down business wise, I guess this might have been when like Ernie was booking as well. Or just at the time that Dusty came in, Wahoo was like the lead heel in Mid-Atlantic. So it was Wahoo versus Dusty, or Wahoo versus Flair, or even like early Magnum TA, like he helped get him over. But yeah, a legend, a Hall of Famer. But he did get that start of that career, and the start of that moniker of Wahoo all came out of this part of the country, and all from the Jet fans themselves.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty great. What else you got? Anybody else that bubbled to the surface when it came
I
to
mean,
football players?
when you're looking at football players, I mean, I would say that that's the sport. The majority of guys that transitioned into wrestling.
Yeah.
You got guys like Goldberg, Vader. Vader had a very promising career ahead of him.
He
He's
was
one of those guys where I think that had it not been for his injury, he could have actually had like a substantial NFL career.
like he had started. He was a Ram, right?
Yeah, he started as a Ram. He was drafted, I think, in the second or third round.
Yeah, and
Like
that's
he was a fairly high draft pick.
yeah, and he was he on the team? Like, so he was drafted.
He was on the
like,
team that went to the
went to the
Bowl.
Super Bowl, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
he actually he got hurt, I think, during the season. I don't think he actually played in the playoffs.
okay.
But he was on that team that won the NFC Championship
And-
in the late 70s
78,
and
79,
then
yeah.
and then lost to the Steelers in
Still
the Super
curtain.
Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, and I see. It took him a while, and I guess maybe because of this injury, and maybe he had other things. Like maybe he was really trying to get back into a football playing shape.
Because he only played 2 or 3 seasons. Like,
okay, did he ever come back from that injury, or was it just
I don't
like?
believe so.
Okay, so that's. I mean,
I
that
think he tried, but I don't
Yeah.
think he ever made the team.
because there's that long gap between then and when he shows
Oh,
up
yeah.
in the AWA. He didn't show up in the AWA until like 85 or early 86.
Yeah, so that's like 4 or 5 years.
And
almost.
even then, like as Baby Bull Leon White, like yeah, they were getting him over, and they were talking about the football career, and like this guy played for the Rams, and and he had a very promising career, and got injured, and decided to try out, the tougher sport of. And this was always like this is such a Vern Gagne thing because he loved like the traditional athletes. But he
Yeah.
still had to like bury their sports and be like,
Yep,
and he
of
really
course.
wants to try it out as a pro wrestler. But it
He was so good at football.
so
He transcended the sport. Has to come here.
this is going to blow your mind. And again, it might be hard to fact check this because both wrestlers are dead at this point. But when Leon went on an excursion to New Japan
Okay.
in
That'd be
87.
what?
80,
Okay.
yeah, 87. New Japan office was like, we're creating a character, Big Van Vader. We've got a concept up for it. It's going to be this entrance with the mask. He's not the first choice to be Big Van Vader. They liked Leon White as the big heavy gaijin who's going to throw bombs but they were like, he's a little green. Guess who they wanted to be Big Van Vader?
What year is this?
87.
Another American guy?
Yep. Yep.
Harry Gordy.
Jim Hellwig.
Whoa.
He was in consideration because he had done, when he was in Texas working for Fritz in World Class.
Okay.
I think he did a 6-week tour in either All Japan or New Japan, and during the discussions, he was like, "I'm going back to the United States," and I think they pitched him like, "Well, we've got this concept for this character," and he was like, "I don't want to move to Japan. I don't want to live here, 8 months or 10 months of the year, and then just do a couple. I'm going back to the United States," and I think even he was like, I think the WWF wants to sign me, kind of took that. And I literally, like, he had signed with WWF in August of 87. And Vader, so it's almost like they crossed paths and Leon went over there. And then they were like, okay, after a little while, they were like, this is going to be our Big Van Vader. Let's start getting you ready. He debuts in 88 and he was over like crazy. Started a riot his first night in. I think he won the IW first time being Vader. I think he won the IWGP Championship and beat Antonio Inoki, and the legend continued from there. And I dare I say, like, I think he was a bigger star in general from his Japan work than his United States work.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he was a
Unfortunately.
big foreign menace. Teamed up with Bigelow. Those guys were yeah.
Two of the best ever.
This is yeah. This is a team that you need to, again. Here's some more homework.
Yeah.
Go check
That
out
is some shit you gotta watch.
Bigelow Vader as tag team champions, IWGP
God,
tag team champions. So yeah, no, Vader's a great one. Would have liked to see a little bit longer career out of him to maybe see if listen, like if the guy was that touted and it was a second or third round draft choice, what could have been if he didn't get the knee messed up or the hip messed up or whatever it was.
The shit that's crazy to me is, like, I understand that football is a super physical game, and that, I mean, wrestling to an extent is it's very physical, but like look at what Vader was doing in the ring, and it's like your knee was that fucked up that you couldn't play football anymore. Like, dude, you're doing moonsaults.
You did a moonsault.
You're like 400 pounds.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're not just doing Andre shit.
You couldn't like figure this out. I don't know. Like,
yeah. Who was training you for football?
This is coming from someone who's done neither of those things. So maybe I'm talking out of my ass.
That's still, yeah.
But when you think about it, it's like he had a almost 20-year wrestling career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And for the most part, at all times, was a huge man doing things that like people had never seen before from someone his size.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Overweight
football,
Vader. Yeah.
Yeah. Like in football, it's pretty standard operating procedure. Like you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't know. It to me, like, my mind can't comprehend that. But again, that's coming from someone that's never done either of those things. But you would think he's done at least how many moonsaults in his career? 500?
Yeah. Listen, he was.
At
He
least
started
500?
them. He started them in like 91.
Every single time your knees hitting the mat.
Yeah. And your thighs.
You couldn't pass block for a little bit longer. I don't know.
Who are these doctors in the NFL who are like, we can't patch this guy up. Fuck him. You got to wrestle now. Well, steroids too.
No one was testing back then.
So yeah, just really quick to jump off Leon and just back to Goldberg real fast. Again, another guy that like he had a better college career than he did have a pro career.
And I think that's almost all professional football players that then become pro wrestlers.
The light bulb goes on after a while. They're like, all right, well, maybe if I get drafted, I can't have a go at it, but I do want to like listen to these people who are saying get into pro wrestling when you're young and you can make a ton of money and
because you
so
have guys that were either undrafted or drafted, maybe didn't make the team, go to the CFL. You have Bradshaw was he played like a season for the Raiders.
Well, he played in Europe as well, I believe.
Yeah,
like World
he
League American football.
Lex Luger
did
played in the CFL.
Yeah.
The Rock played in the CFL.
Mm-hmm. Well, practice squad.
I think Pillman had like a very short stint with the Bengals.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a year or two. There was no substantial.
Yeah, and if you get into regular season games, like you're getting into a handful, you're not the starter, you're not so
you're like probably like a special teams guy, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's what Pillman was. Yeah.
Listen, nothing to shake a stick at.
No, listen, it's something you and I have never done.
It's extremely impressive to be able to do that. But it's like when you talk about guys that are transcending sport to sport, it's it's more of a foundation for them, like their athletic ability. That's like a showcase for the fact that they have the athletic ability to then go into pro wrestling more so that like they were a pro athlete that then became a
Yeah,
pro wrestler.
that's true. That's true. But again, I think Goldberg did it so late. Like I think didn't he started wrestling when he was he mid-30s?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he wasn't. He
Might have
wasn't
been like a
young.
30. He might have been a 35-year-old rookie. So that's the sort of thing where it's like, well, you know, if you were in the NFL and out of the NFL by 94, how is it
And
that it
he,
took you so long to he debuted in 97?
yeah. So that means he probably started training in '96.
Yeah. Yeah. But all right, to train and to do
But he was. That's the other thing is he wasn't in the NFL that long.
2 seasons.
2 seasons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how was he?
Cuz he had he
That
had the better college career. He was a draft prospect at Georgia.
okay?
And the idea was because he signed with the Falcons, and it was like this is the hometown boy, Bill Goldberg, who's going to be like, hey, he's not going to start his first season, but once he's like acclimated to the NFL, he's going to be a big deal, and he had a lot of growth potential, and another one that just it didn't work out for him in the NFL.
Did he go play overseas?
Dealt with injuries, played one more year for I think where he was on Carolina's practice squad. I think either 95 or 96. But even by then it was like, all right, well,
But how is he in his late 30s? That's what I don't understand. Like the math there doesn't even make sense.
4 years at Georgia is out in 92.
So that even
So
even,
maybe he was 28.
maybe he was like early 30s.
Maybe I'm off a little bit on that, but
Just because like that math, he would have had to be in college for like 6 or 7 years.
well, no, don't you know he's Dr. Bill Goldberg? Specializing in abdominals. It's the spear technique. But he'll again, if you bring him up to certain people in certain parts of the country, they'll tell you, yeah, he was a big deal in college and played his seasons and then became.
And listen, there's a ton of guys who were huge in college
Well,
and then just
this
didn't crack.
transitions to my next guy, a college football Hall of Famer,
I think I know who you're gonna
the
say.
All-American Ron Simmons,
Yeah,
and the second that he went to Hiro Matsuda's training school in Florida, they were like, Bobby Bowden, get Bobby Bowden on TV. He was his coach, his mentor, his second father. Make sure, and this was all, I guess, like when he started, he was in Florida. So this would have been like Eddie Graham, Jim Crockett, all the way up to Bill Watts. All of these guys loved and knew Ron Simmons was so fucking good in college. He got votes for the Heisman Trophy
yes.
and was drafted by the Browns and I believe decided that pro wrestling was going to be his calling. Because I think he looked at the landscape and he was like, I'm not going to have a long career. He did play 2 seasons in the USFL, I believe. He kind of bounced around there as well. When you could actually make money in the USFL, but basically for most of it up until he went to WWF, the All-American Ron Simmons was like that was his whole name. Like even when he was in Doom, they were like, and they took the masks off. Jim Ross was like,
took the mask off. Yeah,
Jim Ross was like, that's Butch Reed and that's All-American Ron Simmons. Like it was so like ingrained, and that's like, that was the trope that like Jim Ross always talked about these guys' football backgrounds. Well, guess what? If you have one of the greatest college offensive linemen's or defensive, he was a defensive lineman, right?
defensive lineman.
Defensive lineman. But you have certified like one of the best that ever played at Florida State, that won a national championship and all this other stuff. Like, I'm going to fucking talk about that. Like,
Exactly, yeah.
And Jim Ross is such a sports guy that he's definitely going to like highlight that. And it came with the territory. And it was basically like, all right, he's an All-American. Steve Williams was a 2-sport All-American for football and for wrestling. why isn't Jim Ross going to like make sure that you know that these guys are true athletes that are saying like we're just in the same way that I mentioned about Vader and Vern, shine up the fact that they played somewhere else,
Yeah.
but now they're taking on, the journey of pro wrestling. And yeah, I mean, that's important to help get a guy over.
See, I think, just a side tangent, I think like the criticism of him doing that doesn't come from WCW, which is where like that started.
Right.
It's once he transitioned over to the WWF.
Yeah.
And they're presenting characters and not the true person.
Oh, they put a Roman helmet on him.
And and you start bringing that stuff up, and then the detractors, the people who will say you shouldn't, that's not something you should be talking about, is their rationale behind that is, oh well, now you're stripping away that character and you're presenting the real human being, and we're trying to build this larger than life persona. Anybody could play football.
We have a story to tell with him.
Yeah, which I think is horseshit, personally, because I think accentuating anyone's positive traits, regardless of what they are, and especially when they are real life accomplishments,
right,
are a good thing.
Yeah,
but I do understand, because of the silliness with at that time, especially the characters that they were portraying.
Yeah,
they're not portraying them as athletes; they're portraying them as like whatever the fuck
superheroes
is going on.
Yeah, superheroes or creations from a lab
or like an evil dentist or something.
Yeah, the zombie mortician and his fat pal. So that's I think that puts a bow on anybody else for football. Again, there's
pretty much.
You're gonna get a million guys like that
pop
in. Pat McAfee doesn't count. Doesn't count. He barely counts as a football player. Fucking punter. A punter,
No.
Sir. If you're gonna play special teams, at least take the ball back.
I think he threw a touchdown. I'll give him that.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. I'll give him nothing else. So baseball, I tried to look up and see if there was
There's one.
well, there's one that everybody knows about,
Yeah, of course.
and that's Randy Savage. Was that the one you were thinking of?
Yes. of
Oh, okay,
course.
good.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right.
Sure, he was.
I saw your
playing
head tilt,
AAA.
and I was like, "Oh, Tom's not on board with this."
Yeah, no. He played, but like
He was
again,
minor
he
leagues.
didn't-
Yeah.
He didn't. Technically, that's professional baseball, but like,
Yes. And he spent a lot of time in there. And
yeah, it was like 4 or 5 years.
what's fascinating about it is you look at Randy Savage when he was playing in the minor leagues, and then you're like, look at Randy Savage in 1979 and 78. So he left baseball in 75, I think 75, 74 or 75. He was done with it. His father owned the territory down in Florida or no, it was I'm sorry,
Tennessee.
Yeah. And like he knew that he eventually, because he was a referee in the off season and stuff, and he had set up the rings, and his brother was a pro wrestler, and they knew that like eventually Randy was going to become a pro wrestler. But like look at his like they have that mock up of a baseball card from like 74.
Yeah.
Then look at Randy Savage from like 79 or 1980,
Insane.
and it's like this is not the same person.
No, that guy definitely tried LSD within that 5
He
years.
has become a crazy caveman who sometimes wears Panama hats. Man, it's another thing. Like I'm giving you a lot of homework, but like
Oh man,
Randy
some of those
Randy
old-
Savage ICW is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Nuts.
He
Nuts.
is fucking crazy. And even like Memphis Randy Savage from like 84, early 85. Man, like double axe handles off top of cages down to the floor. Like he was such a unique, like there was no way that he was not going to succeed in pro wrestling. Yeah. He was such a unique presentation and such a like aggressive force everywhere that he went. Like he was aggressive as shit. But yeah, that the PAFO territory stuff, the ICW stuff, and then the Memphis stuff is highly recommended on my side. He was a catcher, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
which is funny. Again, like I talk about how like kind of small and even like for a wrestler, like I think he was like 6 feet tall or maybe 6'1". Catchers are usually more stocky and stout, and
Yeah.
can, I guess because he was such a crazy lunatic, like he could probably protect the plate pretty well.
Could also explain why he never made it out of Triple A.
Yeah, and that's fair to say as well. But yeah, there is he's the number one that comes up on everybody. But I do have two more. Giant Baba.
Oh shit! Wow.
He played for a number of seasons.
What position did he play?
He probably could have played them all. A 7 foot, a legit barefoot 7 foot man. Who
That's
was
like
just,
too big for baseball.
Who was just all torso, by the way. You've never seen a torso like Baba's torso. But Baba-san, he played in Japanese. The Yomiuri Giants was the team that he was signed to. Apparently, he had great home run power. What a surprise. But he had some sort of like freak injury that or developed a disease in his eye where he almost went blind.
Wow.
And had to he had to give up baseball for a couple seasons. It did improve. He did rejoin the team, but again, he was also a guy who was during the off season, he was already training student of Ricky Dozen, and took over All Japan and basically started All Japan Pro Wrestling in the early 70s, and former AWA World Champion briefly, but not really your favorite guy to watch in the ring. So if you want to look at Baba matches, buyer beware. You're not going to get dazzled by he's a spectacle for sure, because you're like, all right, he's got little boots on and they look like they're underground because his legs and his trunk of his body were so impressively long. But Bob is still he was a central figure in Japan for
sure.
50 years.
Probably like a first ballot Japanese wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Oh, and a cultural icon too. Did commercials, they had animated programs about Baba. And he still had as limited as he was in the ring, he had feuds with everybody that came through. And he made a lot of guys a lot of money over there. My third guy, this is going to be a sleeper because I don't think he wrestled recently. This would definitely be something that you'd have to go and look up. But there was a wrestler that was signed to WWE. His name was Veer. He was with Jinder Mahal, I believe.
The guy that was always coming?
Yes. Yeah. Right. Veer is coming. He was coming for a long time. And then when he came, they were like, all right, well, clean this up and get him out of here.
Yeah. Who's got the mop?
But he's also the most unique guy because Disney made a movie about him as a baseball player. He's the subject of the movie $1 Million Arm. He's an Indian-born pitching phenom that scouts in the Pirates organization and in a bunch of other organizations, brought over from India into the United States on the promise of, we've never seen anything like you. You're marketable. You've got personality. We're gonna make you a baseball star. Early 2000s, I want to say. This was, and I think the movie came out in 2017 or whatever. I don't think he ever played in Major League Baseball. I think he was just part of the Pirates organization. And he did have he was in their developmental and minor league systems. But I don't think he ever got past AAA even. But once he decided to become a pro wrestler, did a stint in NXT, him and another guy, maybe his brother, I want to say.
That dude that was the dancer.
Yeah, they became a tag team managed by Stokely Hathaway, and made it to the main roster. Eventually, after he stopped coming, he was there.
His tantric brother.
He had
tantric.
It's all that arm strength that he built up. He could go forever. But But those are really the only three. I mean, there were
When it comes to baseball, yeah, there's
former Montreal Expo Warren Cromartie wrestled one match for the criminally underrated Hustle Pro Wrestling in Japan in 2005 or 2006. And he did wrestle in a baseball uniform.
yeah.
Just so you have the visual.
I feel like there has to be like a handful of Japanese baseball players that transitioned
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
Japanese wrestlers for like lesser known promotions, because that's really the only other country where like you have the crossover of the two.
Yeah, the two sports are
They're
as popular.
big, as big as they
as
are
the
here.
United States. Yeah.
Other than that, I couldn't even.
Yeah, it was pretty thin.
Mexico, maybe,
Maybe.
but I don't
yeah,
think.
Dominican. There's always that possibility that there was, but that's the thing is
But
like
there was.
if you're a luchador, you're gonna wear a mask.
Cuba.
You're not giving up what your
Puerto
your
Rico,
shoot
yeah.
name is.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, there could be a lot of south of the border players that we just don't know who they are because they're wearing a mask. Basketball has a few, but they're mostly like
They're
some
it's
college standouts.
exactly, yeah, college or basketball players that then came into pro wrestling.
Yeah.
To just dip their toes in the water for some exposure. I would say like the one that did the most would be the Worm.
Yeah,
Dennis Rodman.
He's on the top
did
of my list.
You know what I mean? Like he actually did. I mean, he didn't have a ton of matches or anything, but I would say that he spent at least 2 to 3 years in and out of the wrestling business as opposed to anybody else.
But he was also a guy that was at the height of his. So when we were
he was
talking about
winning.
like, yeah,
He was winning championships.
he was in the middle of
in the midst.
He was in the middle of a fucking playoff series, and he was like, "No, this is our night off. I'm going to be in the NWO tonight."
Yeah,
And
which so much fucking respect. One of my second favorite basketball player of all time, Dennis
Rod the Bod, really?
Rod the Bod.
Wow.
Just because of the ties.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
loved, at that time, I loved both of those things so much. That was just like, dude, this guy fucking rules.
Bulls hoops, the NWO.
I would always ask my dad, I was like, can I like camouflage hair? He'd be like, what are you, a fucking idiot?
Go to your room. No, but like, yeah, the Worm, Rodzilla, did have main events.
In events.
Also, was he teaming with? I think he might have been teaming with Savage the one time where it was super hungover on TV. It was an NWO tag match, and he fell asleep in the corner.
Classic.
Legit, like put his head, and they were like, no. Then you hear Dennis snoring, and
Oh my God.
up until '99 he came back. So
Yeah. I mean, Road Wild or Hog Wild, whatever they called it. He had that like really weird match with Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Where
Oh, yeah.
like that was like Savage got like super yoked again.
yeah, oh boy,
And it was just like that was like one of the weirdest matches of all
Yeah.
time. But speaking of basketball, right now I have on. I think this is So they just opened up the WCW Vault on YouTube, and I
Yeah.
have a Super Brawl. I don't even know which one it is. In the ring right now, Sid Vicious and El Gigante.
Oh, yeah, George.
Who was initially brought in by the Atlanta Hawks,
because he had played on the
To be a-
Argentinian basketball team. Yeah,
and
I totally forgot that.
they saw him and because he was playing for the Hawks, which is a turnaround business at the
Yep.
time. I don't know if they still are, but they saw him and they were like, "This guy fucking sucks at basketball."
Yeah, can you
But
do
he
something
pr-
with him? And
He could probably turn heads,
and I think Jim Hurd was like, "We don't
Yeah.
have an Andre the Giant. This is our Andre the Giant."
100%.
And they were like, $, $.
Holy shit!
And then
like I'm literally watching that right now, and I just flooded back those
is that?
memories.
By the way, is that one-on-one Sid and?
One-on-one Sid versus
Sid-
El Gigante.
Okay, all right.
Oh wait, here comes the one-man gang and I don't know who that guy is.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, El Gigante was.
Love it.
I don't know if he ever made the team. I don't think so.
No, I don't think he suited up for the Hawks. I think he was basically like they gave him a
Oh,
look.
that's
He had a
Kevin Sullivan.
tryout,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
and
But yeah,
they gave him a tryout, and then like
because
he
he
was
was like 7'4".
yeah,
He was
yeah,
huge.
and he's another one where it's like his body is so disproportionate. Kind of a tiny head,
Yeah,
400 feet of leg, and then torso, super skinny, like not Manu Bowl arms, but like they gassed him up a little bit. And then of course, like Vince was like, "We'll sign him, put him in a monkey suit. I gotta see hair. He's gotta look naked."
his nipples have to be hairy.
Shout out to the costume designers at World Wrestling Federation.
I need to know
in '93.
I need to know who airbrushed that, and I need one.
I want it.
Stat.
That's next year's Halloween costume. You
I'm
can
gonna
be
get a
on
pair
my.
of stilts.
You can be. No, I was gonna say you could be on my shoulders.
There we go. That's,
And it'll be,
that'd be one interesting bodysuit.
it'll be George Gonzalez for Christmas for Halloween. Wow, what a tremendous costume
man.
that would be. But yeah, like he I didn't note him, but yeah,
I completely forgot about that until I
that's
just
great
saw
timing.
it in my face.
Shout out to the WCW Fault on YouTube. Today's the first day. It's already paying off dividends.
And that is to go back to the first episode of the year. That is, they're paying off what
Yeah,
I
you're hearing that?
predicted in my
Exactly.
predictions.
We're making
for
it work.
2025.
Yeah. I saw there's a Steamboat Savage, Steamboat Flair, Chi-Town Rumbles on
Hell yeah.
the Vault too. So I'm going to be watching that at some point. Back to the dual
to the
sport
show.
athlete. Kevin Nash played and was very good for the University of Tennessee Volunteers in the late
Yeah.
80s. Blew out his knees, then became a bouncer at a strip club that all the WCW workers hung out at, and basically became Diesel from there. Never made the pros. Technically, I think he was highly touted at one point, at least from his point of view. Same thing with Paul White. No more BS, Paul White. You may know him as the Giant. Wichita State, so he was a shocker. Right around the same time, late 80s, early 90s. And he kind of knew there's no way that my legs are going to be able to hold up playing basketball professionally. Thanks for the offer to go to Europe. I'm going to, I've got to offer it here to go work at WCW and train. And sky's the limit from there. And nice long career. Little known fact on this next guy. I don't know if you know this, but Satnam Singh.
That makes sense.
Much in the same way as our friend George Gonzalez, played overseas and was scouted, and I believe was given a contract by the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh wow!
But never saw court time, or if he
Yeah.
did, it was just in like preseason, and they realized, oh, this guy, he looks great. Like if you just put him under the basket. But for basketball, you have to run to the other side of the court too to play defense.
Be able to make it in the hoop and
Yeah, you can't wait for the second half when you switch sides and then he's still there. All right,
Yeah.
now you're a defender for for this 40-minute period. But yeah, Satnam was a potential standout
Okay.
if he had made the Mavericks. But again, like you look at him and you're like, yeah, there's only
Yeah, he's
two
just a
things
big
you can
guy.
do. You can be super tall in basketball and maybe play a season or two, or you can pivot to pro wrestling and just kind of stand at ringside and your head's going to be taller than the ropes from the floor. And thank God they don't use him anymore. Just on a side note,
Yeah.
like it never made sense to me. American Dragon had a fucking match with him, by the way.
I thought that was sick.
Because Brian's crazy. I know. Brian's a maniac. His best match. 5 stars. Is there anybody else on your list that you've got anything for basketball? Or
So,
are you Rodman?
No basketball.
Okay.
I'm more off the beaten path, like
Okay.
side sports.
Okay.
I thought one of the more interesting stories in terms of a pro wrestler that also participated in another professional sport, I found was Ken Shamrock. Because Ken Shamrock, well, MMA is a
Yeah, he
professional
was
sport.
one of the pioneers of
However,
ultimate fighting.
he was initially a pro wrestler
Yes, he was. Yeah,
prior to becoming a
mixed martial artist.
mixed martial artist. And so my awareness of Ken Shamrock started in 1997 at WrestleMania 13 when he was the referee for
referee.
Bret Hart.
Yeah.
However, what I didn't realize was he got into pro wrestling in the late 80s
Yep.
under the name Wayne Shamrock.
Oh, okay. I never knew he had a name change, but
And then wrestled for about like 4 or 5 years prior to getting into mixed martial arts. And his introduction into mixed martial arts was in Japan with Pancrase.
Pancrase. Yep. Yeah.
Then got into the UFC, and then his UFC career launched him into pro
Back
wrestling
to
once
wrestling.
again.
Yeah, because and if you remember, the early days of UFC, it was so they would have the Ultimate Fighting pay-per-views or the VHS tapes,
Yeah.
but it would basically be like, here's all these fighters with all these different disciplines. So it's not like it is now, where like basically everybody almost looks the same. It's just, all right, is he a submission guy or a striker?
Their entire life for it.
But in those early days, and the reason why it got such a bad reputation, it was, all right, you're going to have grapplers, you're going to have guys with an amateur wrestling, a Greco style. You're going to have these, barehanded boxers. You're going to have, judo guys, whatever it is. Then you're gonna put them all in this tournament, this single elimination tournament, and it's knockout or pass out.
There's no rules essentially,
And it was basically right. It was a no rules situation, and that's when like it got such bad. Like they were doing 2020 exposés on it, and guys were getting paid nothing to like do these tournaments. They were basically like a glorified tough man in a cage. And it was a phenomenon, and it was the Shamrocks and the Gracies were like the two heads of state when it came to like the trainers for half the guys that were like, that wanted to like pursue it beyond those first 2 years of UFC starting. So by that time, like sort of like as an underground swell, Shamrock had a little bit of a reputation, but it was also like, hey, I've done the pro wrestling stuff before, so I know how to like, I know how to throw a drop kick. I know how to throw a suplex in the way that they want it. I do bring this like, this different hybrid style, but like I can be a star here. And they were like, you can absolutely be a star here. And it was him and Dan Severn were like the crossover guys from that side. But yeah, Pancrase was his, and Pancrase was more of a discipline, like submission, like a hybrid judo submission league or company. So yeah, I mean, Shamrock is an excellent,
but like
an excellent
so like,
study when it comes to like coming in as a wrestler and pivoting around.
Especially like as a kid, like so that 1996, 1997 is when I like started understanding, because like I was like a very young kid watching wrestling, and it was more about the characters and stuff like that. But around that time was when I started to really understand everything.
Okay, right.
And seeing him, and you're like, oh shit, like so this guy, I didn't know that he had any sort of wrestling background. I was like, I just remember my dad talking about the UFC, and he's like, you're not allowed to watch that. That's too violent. And so I'm like, oh, well, that guy's a fucking badass.
Yeah, he has to be. He's the baddest man on the planet. Yeah,
he's
or the most dangerous man. Like
the most dangerous man.
Yeah.
So then he comes in and he wrestles, and then he leaves to go back to mixed martial arts. Then he comes back to wrestling to go to TNA when TNA starts.
It was the first NWA TNA.
The first NWA.
Yeah.
And then he goes back, and then he does the Tito fights.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like it was such an interesting thing because I was, you know, introduced to him as a UFC guy that came into wrestling.
Hmm.
Little did I know that he was a wrestling guy that got into UFC,
He's a revolving door.
much like Brock Lesnar,
Yes. Yeah.
who he had a extensive background in amateur wrestling. So
Yeah.
like, and he was an NCAA champion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you look at Shamrock, like in it from my perspective, when I saw Shamrock, I was like, well, this guy was. I mean, at that point, I knew, wrestling is not
Yeah.
a
It's
legitimate
right. It's
competition.
a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah.
So like when you present a guy, oh, he's a real fighter.
Yeah.
It kind of is like, oh well, that he's clearly a badass, but also, why are you?
Could you not,
So,
could you not, like, and he's funny, like, could you not make more money in UFC? But I think that was just tying back to what I was saying before. Like, when it first started, it was made clear that these guys aren't making a ton of money because
yeah,
they weren't making, whoever owned the rights to broadcast those pay-per-views or started the company in general, they were making all the money. The fighters were getting a little bit of like a, winner's purse, sort of
yeah.
like the structure of boxing in like the 70s and 80s, and even the 60s. When he went back, after he did the stint in WWF, and then he went back, that's when they were like, all right, well, now we're getting organized. We're running these cards more frequently. We've got some, regulations.
That was around the time that like the Fertitas bought the company and
Yeah.
turned it into a legitimate sport.
Right,
But
right.
like also when he came into WWE, they gave you no back knowledge or any context of the fact that he had a 5 to 6 year professional wrestling
Oh, no.
career
Yeah.
prior to wrestling, prior to his UFC stint.
But
So it's like
yeah.
he's coming in as like, oh, this is like an untrained wrestler who's
Yeah.
coming to beat the shit out of
He's a
people.
wild man. Right. He's a
And
wild
so
man.
like when I actually found out about like the backstory of him,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of wild because it's like holy shit, like he's actually a pro wrestler who somehow transitioned into be a mixed martial art champion,
Mm-hmm.
came back to wrestling,
It was pretty damn good. Yeah.
succeeded at like the highest level,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then went back and became another
Yeah. He had
mixed
another-
martial art champion.
Yeah.
Then came back to wrestling, became a champion again, then went back to mixed martial art. It's like, this guy fucking incredible athlete.
So, all right. All that being said, how is he not in their like this year? How is he not like in their
How
Hall
is
of
he
Fame?
not? Is he in the UFC Hall of Fame? He
I
has
believe
to be,
so.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I think he's like a first ballot. So, given that, all right. So you have TKO that owns the whole company, that owns
Right?
WWE,
Like that's-
owns UFC, and now is in partnership with TNA.
Yeah.
This guy's whole fucking career, you could basically say like he was invented by us.
But if you look when he came, when he left in '99, he's never been acknowledged since, and he's never come
Yeah,
back
yeah.
since.
Yeah.
So there had to be some sort of
Oh well, he got tired of it, and I also
because
think,
he's dipped his
think
toes.
he had drug problems. I think that was
Oh,
one of the
yeah,
big
yeah.
big things is that he.
But he's dipped his toes back in wrestling and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
the fact that they've never brought him back means that it makes me feel as if he left on some sort of
probably
bad terms
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
But Vince is gone, so you would
Yeah,
think that they
bad
they-
man gone.
Although maybe he has heat with
He's got
fucking
heat with Hunter. Yeah,
yeah.
interesting.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I love that story of like a guy that just he kind of worked us all.
So here's another one that's going to blow your mind. I've only got a couple more that I want to bring up, and I'm sure you have a few more as well. Bad News Brown, aka Bad News Alan Kowaj, bronze medalist in judo.
Yeah. I had that one down actually.
Talk about a guy who, so he started playing judo in like the late '60s. Won the So he made the Olympics, I think, in 72. Didn't
Yeah.
qualify for a medal, then won the bronze in 76.
Yep.
Went to Calgary after that and was a mainstay with Stampede.
Mm-hmm.
Like lead heel, big time. Had the first ladder match, or one of the first ladder matches.
Yeah, it's
Him
if
and
not
Brett.
it's one of like the first handful.
Didn't make it to WWE until he was in his early 40s.
I know, it's crazy.
And the early 40s then was like, that would be like a guy breaking into the WWE at like 50 years old now.
Yeah, exactly.
Tours of Japan,
Badass.
big New Japan guy, great opponent for Inoki, a complete badass, and finished it off at the end of the 80s. Like I guess it was like a little after 1990, he was done. And I think again, like he's just another guy that he passed away, but like just didn't go back, didn't wasn't like, hey, I want to train guys now, or I think his heart was always in judo, and I think he still had like training facilities for judo. But I love those pictures. Like that was one of the things, like while I was doing my research, I was like, he looks completely different in his judoku days than he did, when he came in. He was a WWF guy. He wrestled Backlund in 77 or 78. Like a year after the Olympics,
Yeah.
and he had
What
a
I
run.
was
He had
gonna
a run
say-
with Bob. So
What I was going to say is what was more mind-blowing than finding out that he was an Olympic medalist was the fact that he had the sickest afro I've ever seen.
yeah,
Like I just picture him bald as fuck.
yeah. And he also
And,
almost had like kind
I was
eyes in
just
the
like,
bin.
who is that? Like, holy shit, that's Bad News Brown?
Yeah.
Damn.
Power was in the afro, but as I said, like kind of kind eyes too, like in his
Yeah.
judo days.
Seemed like a nice enough man.
They could
who,
probably just like
if
turn
you
it on and
crossed him, he would choke you out.
yeah,
but
right.
he wouldn't give you a heart punch and kill you.
Yeah, the Ghetto Blaster, aka a standing insecurity, was his finish.
Fucking Bad News Brown.
But yeah,
Bad
like
News.
it's
Awesome.
It's incredible to like look back and say like, oh, I kind of know this, and then you do a little bit of research and you're like, wow, look at this story career that
That's
he
nuts.
had, a two-time Olympian, and they always would say, which drove me crazy as a kid. When Ken Patera came out of prison, they were like, Olympic great Ken Patera. And they're like, motherfucker, like he never made the Olympics as a lifter. Like he was in the goddamn Pan American Games. He was scouted for the Olympics. He would have gone in 80, but we boycotted the fucking Olympics in the 80s. And by then he was already into pro wrestling. And when he wasn't doing that, he was ripping phone books in half on Wilder Sports and the Tough Man competitions. Son of a
Fuck
bitch.
Ken Patera.
Stop. Not that I'm disrespecting Ken Patera, like
Fuck Ken Patera.
Olympic power lifter, much in the same way that Mark Henry was. But all right, do you have any other quick
I have
notes?
one more.
Okay.
One more. I know you definitely have one more that you dropped on me the other day.
Yeah.
But this one is again like an off the beaten path professional sport.
Yeah.
John Tenta was
a
professional sumo wrestler in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a Yokozuna.
Undefeated.
A Yokozuna. Yeah.
Undefeated. 24 undefeated sumo matches in 1985. Unbelievable.
Boy, like, all right, so this is the reverse of what we were saying about Bad News and about Goldberg being like kind of old when they came into wrestling.
Yeah. Oh my God. He was like in his early 20s and looked like he was 150 years old,
Yeah.
dude. Unbelievable.
But you look at Tenta, like from the sumo pictures, it's like, oh, he's got hair. He's heavy, but he's not like fat. He's not like what you would say, like, oh, he's a fat guy wrestler. Like he was squat, but he was still like 6'4", 6'5".
Oh yeah, huge guy.
But yeah, like he looks like damn near athletic for a sumo.
100%.
When you think about sumo, you're like, oh, this is a 400 pounder.
Yeah, just like a big fat guy.
I think he
wearing
was
a
doing
diaper.
sumo at the high 200s or like the low 300s. So for
He's just a fucking powerful guy.
but a powerful guy and yeah, like his story is great. Like looking back at like the career that he had, it wasn't a long time, but it was like he
No.
was impactful right away.
Undefeated.
And it was
Unbelievable.
an undefeated Yokozuna. Akibono. Here's the interesting story about Akibono. A sumo champion, came and wrestled Big Show,
Yeah. WrestleMania 21.
and then went back to Japan and was a pro wrestler for
Oh,
for
yeah.
the Hustle promotion.
Yeah, 100%.
He's in their storyline, in their canon, he is the son of Yingling, the erotic terrorist, who was sort of a dominatrix character,
Okay.
and the Great Muda.
Oh, okay.
Do you know
I
how?
thought you were going to say, and John Tenta.
But do you know how have you ever seen how the Great Muda got her pregnant?
I did.
Yeah.
He missed it.
He missed it in her girl part. And then a few weeks later,
I did see that.
Bono-chan was born. And here's Akabono with a pacifier in his mouth. A guy who is legitimately...
Let me tell you something. There's only a few things that are better than pro wrestling.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing's better than that, brother.
That's... be forewarned, listeners of this show. There's going to be a time where somebody's going to upload a bunch, because you can't find it. You used to be able to find it on YouTube, but it's tough to find clips of Hustle.
Yeah.
I would
Daily Motion.
Daily
Motion.
That's where I'm going. I would love to like do a breakdown or watch along of a bunch of like clips from and explain this to you guys. Like honestly, if you've never seen Hustle, it was one of my favorite like short-lived promotions, because Japan was on its ass at that point in the mid 2000s, and here's this little absolute like I don't even want to say sports entertainment. It was an absolute like
I don't know what
comedy. It was a comedy show. Basically, it was a comedy show.
It's kind of like DDT almost. Like it's. Like
I think it's.
I
think
feel
it's
like
more
DDT
over the top.
kinda
Yeah, they did.
Oh, it's 100%.
Yeah,
More over the top, but like DDT spawned from.
Yeah, they were
from the missing Hustle.
Yeah,
element in Japan.
Hustle walks so DDT could run, but
Exactly.
But Jesus, like we'll get into it in a future episode. But you just have to look at like the laundry list of like alumni that spent even like a little bit of time in that promotion. But then you hear the stories of people that like again, Akibono is maybe like one of the best sumos and one of the most famous people in Japan. And here he is. Baby, he was a baby boy.
At like however old he is, fully grown,
full grown,
like,
giant man, giant man. And I think he had bangers with Bob Sapp too, another mixed martial art guy. But but
how could we forget Bob Sapp?
Oh, Bobo Sapp. Oh. Bob Sapp's music
Minoru Suzuki. There's
Bob Sapp's music videos are still like that's again more homework. Just watch Bob Sapp's music videos in Japan. He's a legend. But I'm gonna finish. We're gonna finish with
round it out.
We're gonna finish with the Japanese wrestler, and this one's gonna blow everybody's brains out.
I couldn't believe it when you said this.
This is my favorite. This is the reason why I want to do this episode. The world of golf. You do not think, hey, pro wrestling and golf are going to have anything in common, right?
Unless it's John Daly.
Or unless, well, yeah, could have. John Daly probably could have had a hell of a run.
He still could.
Yeah, well, I know John Daly would get lost in the ropes. There was a golfer that WCW had a Barry Dorso had a golfer gimmick for a little while. But we're not talking about. He was.
What was that guy?
What was his golfer name?
Fuck. All right, you go on, and I'm gonna look it up.
but like we're not talking about Darso. We could, but Darso wasn't a he didn't come from the golf world or go to the golf world from wrestling. Only one person can say that they went from. Well, you're smiling. What was it?
Mr. Hole in One.
Mr. Hole in One. What a
That's
what a lazy gimmick name.
Mr. Putt.
Mr. Putt. Yeah, exactly. I just call him fringe backswing would be a way better golf name than that.
Good God.
Divot. Anyway, but a very famous Joshi wrestler, one of the most famous Joshi wrestlers of all time.
One of the best.
One of the best. A Hall of Famer. Became a. I'll back this up a little bit. I'm just going to tell you the name. Bull Nakano.
I could not believe it.
Any pro wrestling fan that knows Bull Nakano, and if even like like an ounce of her story, if it's just like from her WWF and WCW stints, you're like, man, she's a wild woman. She's got the high hair. She's got the scorpion submission hold, the page stole. She had that big leg drop off the top. Like she was part of the team with Dump Matsumoto in All Japan Women in the 80s. She did 2 tours in New York even before then. Storied career, legendary career. After she gives up pro wrestling in the late 90s, she qualified for and was a card-carrying member of the LPGA, the Ladies Pro Golfing Association. Now, she didn't have like a great career at it. It wasn't like she was, I think at one point they said that she was ranked like 204th in the world, which honestly is kind of impressive.
Yeah.
But I love that like little tidbit of knowledge that like when she got done with wrestling, it wasn't like, and she was like, done. She had to retire from All Japan Women's when she turned, I think, 26. But then they opened up, a couple different promotions, and she was able to, do her stint in America. So she had a much longer career as a Joshi wrestler than the normal expectancy, and made a far bigger impact. But when she was done, she didn't open up a school. She didn't, train anybody. She was like, I just want to take my clubs, go out for, go play 18, have a lady scramble, maybe win a trophy or two. I'd love to see footage of her play. Like that's one thing I couldn't find. And if I do, I will certainly like share that on all of our socials. So you can see maybe she didn't wear the high hair. And she also, God bless her, she did have a bad alcohol problem, at this time as well. So when you talk John Daly, she had more in common with John Daly than she does with Scotty Scheffler.
Brother, the high hair through a visor would be the ultimate.
Yeah, that's what she should have wore to the Hall of Fame last year before she got inducted.
The high hair with a visor and like
and the big shoulder pads.
The big shoulder pads and like a little foofy skirt.
Yeah. Yeah, skirt. Maybe some high top high top cleats. I find that incredible for somebody that was just, if you look at her pro wrestling persona and you're like, where are you 10 years from now? And it's like, lady golfer, pro lady golfer. Sure.
Polar opposite.
Yeah.
Polar opposite.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there was one other pro wrestler that became a semi-professional golfer. I'm glad you're sitting down for this. For a time, and I think it might have only been in Florida or vacation states, there was a professional miniature golf league in the 2000s.
So are we talking like miniature golf or miniature golf?
I'm saying miniature golf, like
Like a windmill.
Putt windmill.
Okay.
Yeah. Although I think
Thought
for
like
the
Max thought Max Mini may have gotten into the golf game.
no, not. I liked how your brain went there. Larry Zbyszko showed up on ESPN in the 2000s.
As if I couldn't dislike Larry Zbyszko.
I clearly remember him coming on a segment and talking about being on the professional miniature golf tour. Again,
Tell
maybe
you something, Tony.
maybe he was just like just fucking working everybody.
The clown on hole 6 is just unhittable.
And to me, like, again, you can play miniature golf. Like, you can get around to miniature golf done in an hour. Like, Zbyszko playing, like, miniature golf tournaments, they're probably, like, 8-hour events where he's just stalling in between.
He's telling stories in between.
He goes up to the next. He has to walk the course before he goes to the
me
second
and
hole.
Vern were training in the barn up in Minnesota.
Oh, just wouldn't shut up about Bruno Sammartino and the time that he broke the chair over his head.
Damn it.
But yeah,
I can't stand that guy.
Bull Nakano should be the thing that I leave on, but I can't stop thinking about.
You really ruined my night. Because now I'm just going to think about Larry Zbyszko for the rest of the night.
We covered a lot of ground. We certainly did. This episode will definitely come with the potential for some video clips. I want to see if there's any footage of George Gonzalez shooting hoops, or Satnam Singh maybe getting out there. Definitely,
I would love to see a John Tenta sumo match.
On his dark side of the ring, there was footage on his dark side of the ring last year.
I need like full tournament style, just him wrecking people.
I don't think it's hard to find, and yeah, that on the bright side, like there's Ernie Ladd promos. You've already been assigned Ernie Ladd promos, so I'm not gonna go crazy.
I also kind of want to see like 1988 Ken Shamrock wrestling.
He wasn't. So I remember, if I remember correctly, from the stories that I heard, he was in like the Southern Indies around that time. There was a promotion. I think Tommy Rich was like running a promotion out of Georgia. That actually had some names. Like I think Steamboat came through there. The Nasty Boys worked there, and I think it's one of the Nasty Boys shoot interviews. They were like, "Yeah, we spent time with Ken Patera and we beat him up in a bar, and then he stopped being a pro wrestler after that." So I think it was during that little window after the Nasties left. Maybe they left the AWA before they went to WCW the first time.
That makes sense.
And they like worked these indies. So I mean, I'm sure like it's out there somewhere. But the Holy Grail is going to be
Bull
Nakano pro golfing footage, or this segment of Larry Zbyszko
Larry Zbyszko
talking about
professional
miniature golf, or even Bad News Brown judo Olympic footage.
I need to see Larry Zbyszko make the 18th into a clown's mouth. And get like a stuffed horse
also
as the prize.
You might not remember this, but I know I remember this. Larry Zbyszko did kind of do like a he kind of in the AWA developed a little bit of a karate gimmick for a while, and he was flipping nunchucks around.
Oh,
so I'm thinking like
I need to do an extensive dive into Larry Zbyszko.
Future episodes, we're doing future episodes. Deep dive Larry Zbyszko, the Hustle promotion in Japan, and batting cage footage of Randy Savage if it's out there.
Oh boy!
Always listen. The basement never disappoints. We give it 110%. These athletes, at some point during their careers as wrestlers or other sports, definitely gave it 110%. So, Tom, I feel good about the journey that we took today.
Yes, we really explored all of professional athletes and how they made their impact, and I'm surprised at some of the things that we discovered.
That's exactly what I was looking for. I like to hear the surprise in your voice. So for Tommy Schultz, this is Mike Madden. We hope you guys have a great night. And we'll see you guys either at the mini golf course or at the matches.